Hey guys, this is Dan and this is Engelgeist. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast for Wednesday, February 2nd. It is not solely set for that date. It's originally created for that date. So it is for all signs. So this is for you whenever you see it, really. But if you're watching on a regular basis, it coincides with the readings that have preceded it. You can always check out the underpinning video for the week. I'll sometimes reference those cards in these readings. That's always in the lower left-hand corner at the end of the video. Please check out the drop-down menu underneath the video for house rules, what decks I'm using, how to support the channel, if you want to book a private reading, all of that sort of stuff. One thing I did forget, I'm filming all of these together because I'll be traveling over the next few days. One thing I did forget is that we have a new moon right on the 1st of February. I didn't realize that we had the new moon. So welcoming in the new moon. And new moons are about creations, setting intentions. What is it that we want? How is it that we want it? Asking for that assistance. Asking the moon for that assistance. So that new moon energy still exists even in today's reading. Hopefully those of you that knew about it caught it last night. But still think about, like, where do you want to be? What do you want to get accomplished? What do you want to get done? Those are good things to always be focused on during a new moon period. So beyond that, please hit the thumbs up button, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff that we do on social media to help me get the word out. And let's see what our card is for the day. I did not like that cut. Give me one moment. I'm going to shuffle one more time. That was weird. That was like a wonky cut. This deck is kind of fat. It's a new deck that I'm working with. It's the Da Vinci Enigma Tarot. And so it's a little fresh in its shuffleness. Okay. 10 of Air. This would be the 10 of Swords. Punishment. Interesting that we have this here. And the reason why I'm going to say this, because we're now at Wednesdays, right? And I'm filming these a few days ahead. So I'm trying to kind of corroborate it with this Sunday underpinning video. The midweek card is that Page of Swords. This 10 of Air is about defeat. Tens are about endings and the endings of cycles. And air is the air, like the swords, right? So this would be the 10 of Swords. This man is hanging here. He's done. His work here is done. His journey is over. He's at a loss. He's met a complete ending with something, right? If we feel completely defeated by something, I think that could be going on for us because we saw the 5 of Cups yesterday. We also saw the 8 of Cups. There is this, I think, transformation that's taking place in these cards that they're trying to tell us, or maybe they're just trying to tell me, I don't know. But the message that I'm sort of getting is like, we have a choice today. Do we want to utilize our vision from this 10 of Air, which would be, what is it called? Destruction? Punishment, right? Do we want to punish ourselves, right? Or do we want to kind of use that air elemental energy, the intellect, our thoughts, the way we communicate in a new way through that Page of Swords that would be existing underneath this Swords energy? Like, sometimes a death has to take place for a new way of thought to be born. Does that make sense? So in a way, we may have to have gone through some serious shadow work, pain, sadness, loss, devastating thoughts. That would be this 10, right? And a 10 numerologically is the end of the cycle, but it brings the cycle back to the beginning, which is a 1. When you boil down this 1 and the 0, it becomes number 1 again, and the journey begins again. And that's where the youth of the Page of Swords, which follows after the 10 in a tarot deck, she comes in and maybe allows us or inspires us to open up our thoughts, to allow the sort of the dead thoughts or the thoughts that are no longer working with us, the communication that's no longer working for us, to fall away, Remember now, we're in this new moon period too, and this is for the 2nd of February. We have the ending of a Mercury retrograde coming up on the 4th, right? So this could also be the ending of that like poor communication. And this could be like self communication, right? For some of us. When I see this idea of punishment in yesterday's 5 of Cups, which was the word unwinding, it makes me think of where can we unwind or undo places where we've held ourselves under scrutiny, where we've hung ourselves out to dry, where we have judged ourselves harshly or others harshly, right? And maybe alleviate that or let go of that. Remember, with this death of the 10 of, or the ending of the 10, it means something new has to be born into its space. And so there's an opportunity here in looking at what it is we think and why, how it is we think. Do you see what I'm saying? And from that, we learn something new through the page that's underpinning all of this. Like the underpinning cards this week, they want to emerge forward if we will allow them, is my feeling. But we have to go through the death before we can have the page come in so that she can teach us something new, right? Or so she can bring new messages with her, new learnings, new insights, new thoughts. So this should actually be a transformative day, is my feeling. For some of you, it could be harder. This would indicate communication could be quite hard today for you. The 10 of Swords is not necessarily a fun, loving card, right? It's usually depicted, this man hanging there is in a warm welcome sight, but it's usually a man laying on the ground with 10 swords in his back, right? So it always indicates a very kind of gruesome ending, right? But I think that we get to choose how gruesome it is for us on this day. There's the page underneath this says to me that we can look at this from a fresh perspective or allow the ending to take place, the ending of the punishing thoughts, the ending of the scrutiny, the ending of the judgment. If we have judgment for another or for a situation or for a relationship, or let it die, let it go, right? Especially during this new moon, and start to redefine it through the energy of the Page of Swords, right? She's new thought. She's youthful. She's excited. She wants to learn and bring in new information. So she's underneath this, but we have to get out from underneath ourselves in a way. So let's see what the Secret Oracle has to say. Know your labels. Okay, so this bird is giving me some sort of dark vibes, right? I love that he's on fire. It's kind of a phoenix from the flames thing happening, right? And I love that he's called Know Your Labels. How are we labeling ourselves? Are we punishing ourselves mentally? Are we holding our feet to the fire in some way, shape, or form, needlessly? Or are we holding somebody else's feet to the fire through expectations? And is that punishing them, or, thus punishing us and making our situation look mentally more difficult or extreme than it needs to be, is the feeling that I'm getting, right? This dark bird to me feels like he wants us to sort of rise up and learn from how we may label ourselves, our lives, or how we view ourselves or our situations, and maybe actually rise up out of it, kind of transform it in a way, like the phoenix from the flames. Let me read the story from him. Know your labels. So, know your labels. Humans are multifaceted beings. We have more facets to our nature and personality than the Dravkin has scales and feathers. To some, Dravkin is a divine messenger, while others see him as a demonic being. Who can say that either label is accurate? Nobody but the Dravkin himself knows for certain. The Dravkin says, the Drakvin, sorry, says that some of his labels are he, him, dragon, chimera, harbinger, messenger, guide, celestial, magical, divine, ancient, creative, innovative, critical, impatient, noisy, stubborn, gregarious, insistent, persistent, demanding, devious, manipulative, cunning, and absent-minded. And the list is incomplete, forever changing. Drakvin is, it's weird how the name is spelled Drakvin, I'm having a hard time saying it, is more than the labels he has offered. And if you have noticed, some of the labels he embraces are negative. Drakvin chooses to be truthful about his nature, for the Drakvin is also whole, authentic, and honest. He explores his nature. He knows his strengths and weaknesses. He accepts that he has a shadow side, that he is a bit naughty and not always nice. He also knows that he is predominantly kind and gentle. Drakvin knows his labels, and that makes him powerful. He knows who he is, and because he knows who he is, his feathers do not get him ruffled when others try to define him or limit him. He understands that there are times when the labels others use to define him are accurate, but also that they are not all he is. By knowing his labels, Drakvin knows he will never be what others expect him to be. He will always be more. Do you know your labels? And I think that's interesting with this sort of hanging Ten of Swords punishment card is like, where are we holding ourselves in our thoughts? How are we holding ourselves? Are we holding ourselves in a more negative light that we need to let go of, that we might need to release to have more emotional peace and balance? That very well may be the case. I think that accepting that we have that light and dark side to us is a very important factor in this day, in this reading, right? Especially with this new moon coming up. The grounding stone for the day is on Tiger's Eye, which is a very grounding stone, right? But the word is forgive. Can we forgive ourselves? That punishment, where have we been hanging ourselves? Where have we been labeling ourselves in such a way that it holds us back, that it doesn't honor ourselves? Remember the word this week, this grounding stone for the week is finding that honor within. And I think the Drakvin wants us to understand that even the things that we see as maybe dishonorable have some semblance of honor to them. And we need to release that, let that go, let that ending come so that the Page of Swords can show us a new way to view ourselves or see ourselves, so that we can be able to forgive ourselves and thus forgive others. Does that make sense? That is your forecast for the day. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care and thank you. Bye.